Alright, so let's look at a couple examples here using these rules. So, example number one. Example number one. So let's say we have a circle, and let's say we have two chords that intersect somewhere in the circle, but not the center. Okay, this is not a central angle. And let's say that we're looking for x degrees right here, this angle, and this arc is 100, and then this arc is 70. Okay, so that's what we know, and we're trying to find x. When you look at this picture, so it's somewhere inside, the vertex of the angle is somewhere inside the circle. So let's see, central angle is the same as the arc measure. Inscribed is half. If it's somewhere inside, it's the average of the two arcs. So what we'll do, to take the average, we'll say x equals 100 plus 70 over 2. Now if you do this on the calculator, you need to add 170 first. You get 170, then divide by 2. Don't try to do it at once, because the calculator's gonna give you the wrong answer. You get 85, and that's it. Okay, so there's number one, right there. How about example number two? And the thing that I suggest as well is that once we write down the example, pause it, see if you can figure out the answer first, and then take a look at what I did and see if we agree. Alright, so example number two, let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so again, we'll have a circle, two chords intersecting. Remember that a chord is just a segment with both endpoints on the circle. Let's say that this is 140 degrees, this angle inside. This arc is 180 degrees, and then this is x, this other arc. Now this one's a little bit different because now the variable is one of the arcs. Now you have two arcs that get created by this 140. Okay, these two vertical angles, if I trace out the endpoints of the angles, you get 180, you get x. Central angle is the same as the arc measure. On the circle is half the arc. Somewhere on the inside is the average. So that means 140 equals, the angle measure is the average of the two arcs. So I'm going to add the two arcs, I divide by 2. Now to solve this, you can think of this as a proportion. Actually, we can do this as 140 over 1. All we have to do is cross multiply. So 2 times 140 is 280 equals 1 times x plus 180 is just x plus 180. And then we'll solve this equation here, subtract 180 from both sides, and we get 100 equals x. And that's it. Okay, we'll do two more examples here. Number 3. So again, let's say we have a circle. Okay, we'll draw the two chords, and we'll say this arc is 82 degrees, and then this arc here is 55 degrees, and then here's x. Now notice that this one's a little bit different because x is not the angles that create the arcs. So if I take, here's 82 degrees and here's 55, if I trace these out, it's this angle and this angle, degrees. Now that's not the answer though. That's the value for y. We want to find the value for x. But if you look at x and y, if you look at the y angle and the x angle, if you put them together, they're adjacent and they form a straight line. So that means they have to add up to 180. So the last thing we can do here is do 180 minus 68.5, and so we get x equals 111.5 degrees. X is 111.5. and that's it. Okay, one more example. Say example number 4. Let's say we have this situation. Here's a circle. There are 2 chords. Let's say this angle here is 140 degrees. Let's say this angle is 76 degrees. And then let's say, or this arc is 76, and let's say that this is 12x minus 24. We want to find x. Okay, so the directions are find x. Well, if the vertex of the angle is somewhere inside the circle, then you know that the angle measure is the average of the 2 arcs. So our equation, we can say 140 equals 12x minus 24 plus 76 divided by 2. Now before we cross multiply, let's go ahead and combine our like terms. So let's do, that's negative 24 plus 76. And that gives us, we get 12x, we get plus 52 divided by 2. Now we can put this as 140 over 1, and you cross multiply. This time I'll do 1 times 12x plus 52. I'll do that first, doesn't matter, equals 140 times 2, which is 280. And now we solve it. Minus 52, minus 52, we get 12x equals, that's 228 degrees. We divide by 12, and x is equal to 19. And that's the answer. Okay, so what's the idea? If the angle is on the inside, then you add the 2 arcs, you divide by 2, so you do an average.